does right
Then,
and help our youth the truth to know,
the
in love and honesty to grow, living
Help our
to
youth
mature.
who we meet.
Great lofty heights attain,
great lofty
to
heights
build a nation,
attain,
to build a nation where peace and
where
justice
peace
shall reign.
and justice shall reign.
Let's move on to trail. All right, the national pledge. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful,
Loyal and
honest,
honest,
to
to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend her
defend our
unity,
unity,
and uphold
her
her.
help me God.
Help me God.
All right, thank you. Now we'll be moving on to the first lecture. Our first lecture is it's called Be a Transformational Leader by Mrs. Moranuba Owaje. I hope I pronounced that correctly. A little bit on our facilitator for this meeting. Mrs. Owaje is a caterer by profession. She believes in a cleaner Lagos, which starts from a transformed mind to better disposal of waste. She's an oak seed of class 029. So with that said, I would like to hand over to our facilitator, Ms. Maranuba Owaje. Ma.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Ma.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Kai and is what we're talking about. And the question we probably want to know is that what do I mean? What's the meaning of being transformed? What's the meaning of transformation? Transformation, leadership, the learning objective. So many things we're going to talk about today. Learning objectives. Why? What is the meaning of transformational leadership? This shows the difference between transformational leadership and transactional leadership. So those are two words that in the course of the discussion, we get to know what they mean. And which is best side? Hi, please, darling. Thank you. Then which is the better leaders that also learning leaders of tomorrow. But now we've now been corrected by one of the oak seeds that says now you are all leading for tomorrow. You are leaders for tomorrow. You are called into the leadership for a better tomorrow. Leadership is the capacity to influence, although through inspiration, motivated by passion. generate a vision. Produced by, you all know that to lead, you're in front, like we all know, others follow, you know. So the capacity, being able to influence people and have a positive having effects on it, on them or the people you're leading is what we refer to as being transformational. When it's not a transaction, you don't take your part, you know, you want to lead, and as you're leading, you also want them to have a good impact on their lives. So we're told by Mas Morillo that that kind of leadership is influenced by true inspiration, motivated by passion. Most of the time, we generated by vision. My question most times, I always say that most time we are led by what drives us, you know. So for you to move into this space and be a transformational leader, you must have that positive vibes. You must have a vision. You must be able to, which is not leader, which is not dictation, which is not being dictating to people or putting your input or enforcing on people, but leading with a positive goal to make a good impression on the people. Now, leadership, like I said, is not about control. A lot of us think, especially if I'm talking to secondary school, so you probably understand what I'm saying. Being a class prefect in your class, or being a leader or a prefect, or maybe an assignment given to you in class by your class teacher to be in charge of doing the notes. Taking a leadership role in school where you represent your colleagues or your classmates in school is not about control. You know, we all have to have that mindset that is an opportunity. I call it a very rare privilege. Even if you're two and you're leading the second person, is a rare privilege. So it's not a control thing. It's not, oh, I'm the leader, or I'm going to write your name down and you're going to be punished. Or, you know, it's not about threats. It's not about enforcing your rights, but it's about service. You know, we all lead by example. That's what a true leader is. And that's what transformational leadership is all about. It's not about power, but empowerment. It's about doing things and let the people see. For example, I'm a class rep in my class. I want my classmates to maybe submit their notes or pick up desks on the floor or arrange their chairs after break, after a lesson. I want to go for break, you tucking your chair back on the table. You don't shout it, you show the example and let everybody know what you're talking about. So it's not about control, it's about service. Leadership style is the way in which they influence and motivate others to reach their goal. Just like I said, you know, how you talk to people, what you do, what people see you do. You know, your influence motivate others to follow. And they realize everybody wants to follow someone that leads by example and leads in love, you know, not being forceful or shouting or making you feel as if you're less of yourself. So we all have to have that in mind, that as we lead, love must be our bedrock. Love must be, and when I say love, you know, knowing to yourself that, oh, if I were in this person's shoes, would I like to be spoken the same way or treated the same way? You know, like it said in the Bible, when just said the first commandment, you know, is love your neighbor, like you said. So if we can actually operate on the basis and on the bed of love, leadership becomes easy and effortless. You know, then we're able to lead by examples and people would easily want to follow us. Now, there are different types of leadership style. We have the pace setters, you know, we have the democratic style. You know, the pace setters, the democratic side, people focus, We have the ones that are authoritative, they have to just say something. You know, like in Nigeria, we have a democratic government, which is a government for the people, meaning that you want the people, you put the people in mind. That is actually what it's meant to be. You know, then influence-focused leaders. We also have innovative leadership, transformational style. You know, people that you have innovations, people see in your style of leadership, and then, oh my goodness, sorry, I'm so sorry, so sorry. My slide, sorry. Just a minute, just give me 2 seconds, sorry. I'm so sorry. Just give me 2 seconds.
Hello, Mrs. Moranuga.
My slide, oh, sorry. Sorry, I actually thought I'm trying to put my slide on. So sorry.
And if you need an assistance with it, you can actually send it to INT admin on WhatsApp so that we can help you display it.
Sorry, I'm actually doing this. I totally thought it was, I put the slides on. I'm so sorry.
Please, can you try now?
I'm actually doing it. I'm moving it from my email to the
But in case you still have a challenge, please send it so that we can help you share.
So unless you can share your screen, yes, yes, you can share it from here. If I download it and everything, that's it. You want to share it on your video?
Yes, so let me share it now.
Do you want me to turn on your video?
I'm sharing it. Sorry, can you see the slides now? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, I'm so,
we
so
can, ma'am.
sorry. I
Or
just,
can you put it in the bigger mode?
sorry? Bigger,
Yeah, can you make it bigger?
okay.
In the slide share mode?
I want to share the slides. No, I think it's small. Is it okay like this? So can you see it now?
Yes, we can see.
Yes, ma.
Okay, so I think I'll just start from the beginning.
All right, please go ahead.
Sorry, yeah. So this is the page, transformational leader for secondary school. It's page 2. So with the learning objective for this program is to show the difference between the transformational leadership and the transactional leaders. Which one is a better leadership style? And like I said, we're learning to lead today for tomorrow. So I go to the next slide. Miles Monroe said, leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, motivated by passion, generated by vision, produced by conviction, and ignited by purpose. So the basic, like I said earlier, the basic point in all of this is that there must be a purpose driven. Why, there must be a purpose, and the purpose behind this to be to lead, to influence others positively, and the leadership style must be able to leave the person better than you met the person. I go to the next slide. Next slide. Sorry, my
Well, in the mode you are using it, you may just type the number and press enter so that it would.
No. Leadership is not about control, but about service. And like I said earlier, it's not about the power, but empowerment. So the leadership style we should all have shouldn't be about, I must control you, or I must be in lead, but must be done in love, so that at the end of the day, you're putting out a service that someone can, you're putting out a service that someone can take from, and at the end of it, you must be able to empower them positively, like I said earlier on. So leadership style, the way in which they influence, I hope you can see my slides, please. So can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The leadership style, the way in which they influence and motivate others to reach a goal, which is what I said earlier on. It's not a shouting thing. All has to be on a bedrock in love. Once all is done in love, it's easier to get it done. Then there are various types of leadership style. There are different styles. We have the pace setting, we have the democratic, we have the people focus, we have authoritative, which are the command, the control, which is what I said, that it doesn't have to be a command, it has to be done with love. We have excellent focus. We have the innovative, transformational style. We also have the charismatic, and the persuasive influencer style. In all of this one, I would dare say that the best form of leadership that makes a positive influence and will make you to lead properly is the transformational style. All have different kind of positive effects on the other, but the best one that works better, carrying the people with them, is the transformational leadership style. Everything rises and falls on leadership. This is written by John C. Maxwell. If you're a bad leader, like I said, if you lead wrongly or you give wrong advice or you do things without showing an example, like I said initially, that the transformational leadership style, you lead, you put an influence, you let people see what you're doing. It's not leadership by mouth, but it's a service. Everything, like what we're seeing in our country, Nigeria, has to do with our leadership. Nigeria is good. It's being positive or negative is still based on our leaders. Even as we are in our individual places, in our homes or in school, as a class rep, as a senior one, as a senior one to your younger ones at home, whatever you do positively, say to them, if they get it wrong or they get it right, it still falls on leadership. So who is the leader? The leader is the person that tells someone to do something positively with an example and with the aim, like I said, to influence the person you're leading positively. So all you do is very, very important to make sure that you think deeply, to be sure that your ideas is not being forceful, is not being democratic, is not authoritative, is not giving a command, but being people-centered and knowing that whatsoever you're asking them to do, is going to make a positive impact. And at the end of the day, everybody will be happy with your decision. Sorry. Leadership, according to James Bond. Sorry, let me go back to that slide. Okay. Now, there are different kinds of leaders. Amoral leaders, bullies. Like you can see from this picture, which some of us, yes. You can see from this picture that this person in the picture wants everyone to bow down to him. You just want to get the satisfaction, when you know that everything has to be your own. Everyone has to bow to your own opinion. And primarily, the interest is, most of the time, the interest is their own, regardless of the needs of others that they're leading. So this kind of leader is what a lot of us so this kind of leader, we need to be very, very careful. Most of the time we find ourselves in this kind of leadership where we just want our own. Everything has to be under us. Even amongst our friends, you realize that you have some friends and you're just bullying them. They have their own idea. You say, no, it's what I want. It's what I want, and it has to be. Without you knowing, you are giving negative vibes. It's a total negative style of leadership, because leadership doesn't really have a class. I mean, you don't graduate into a leadership school. It starts from where you are, as what you are, and number of people and people that you are around. How are you able to carry people along with you? how you're able to let people understand what you're doing in your homes, in school, in the people you meet, even in your various places of worship, how you allow people to relate with you. That shows who you are. I mean, some of us at times, we have fantastic, brilliant ideas, but being able to even carry people along without bullying them, without making them think that, oh, I have the best idea, either you take my idea or you leave it. So this type of leadership is not good. It burns out, and is a bully kind of leadership, and it's not a good one. This kind of leadership wouldn't end well, and it has a negative influence on people. Because at the end of the day, the people you're leading, rather than them to follow you or to have positive growth, they'll be intimidated. And it will be, oh, anything he says will do. You will kill their dreams. They will not be able to express who they are to you. They will not be able to, even as a class rep, they will not be able to express, oh, I have this idea. Or even at times, there are times that they put you in groups in school and you're told to, maybe you have a function or you have a debate and your team is meant to lead and you're the team leader. I mean, you are meant to allow everybody in your team to express themselves. This picture, this slide is actually the opposite. He wants his own to be heard and everybody's bound down to him. And it's not the best form of leadership. So I go to the next slide. Transactional leadership. Relationships are dependent on what one gets in return. That's a transaction, transact. I want to transact business with you. You give me something, I want to buy bread. So I give you 10 naira or 200 naira for the bread, and you give me the bread in return. That is exactly in a small description what this kind of leadership is. It's transactional. I give something, you take something. It's not a fair kind of leadership, and that kind of leadership will end up ruining and spoiling the economy of any nation. It doesn't build any relationship. It's a buy-to-buy thing, and it won't last. It will, at the end of the day, it will ruin whatever you want it to do. Relationships are dependent on what one gets in return. It shouldn't be. You should have an open mind. You should have an open mind to everything you're doing. Approaches followers with an eye of exchange for one thing to another. And amazingly, we all do these things, especially in school. Oh, okay, you want me to give you something? Give me this, I'll give you that. It doesn't, or if you don't give me this, I'll not tell you what I have. Or I'll not give you the ideas to this one. You have to give me something for an exchange so that I can give you what I want. It's not nice. It's not, we all are guilty of it, especially when we're in school. We all think you have to give me something to get something in return. And that's this kind is exchanging one thing for another, using reward or punishment for a form of motivational medium. There are plenty and million ways you can motivate people to bring the best in them without being transactional, without having that kind of mindset of give me kind of mindset. There's so many ways that you can achieve a lot of things. You can put down, you can achieve so much by, like I said, transactional, not being transactional, but being transformational. Transformational is the person would have a reason to think deeply. So you're not just addressing the person in a form of business mode, which this is, but you're addressing the person in the person's mind. So let's go to the next slide. Transactional leadership does not lead to change, like I said. In this perception and values, in the perception and the values and the expectation and aspiration of people, it doesn't lead to any change. Because if people just come to you and they say, oh, at least if I give her this, she'll give me this. So at the end of the day, you haven't gotten anything, you have not changed any mindsets. There's no paradigm shift. The person you have not given anything differently. You have not left the person differently than you met the person. And as leaders, we must be able to motivate the people we're leading to take positive moves. to do things that at the end of the day, they will look back and say, wow, thank God I met this person at this point in my life. Oh, thank God this person led our class, was a class rep in my class for this period. Oh, thank God this person was the team lead in my debate. I was able to learn, we're able to learn together. We're able to do two things together, you know? So the choice of a leader, the choice of such leaders has little to do with the ability to create change through vision or goals. You know, it has nothing to do because the person just has a mindset of giving. Depends on self-motivated people choosing to direct rather than influence. And the core of this course is to influence people. To influence, you know, there's this thing, there's a saying that once you can influence your next person positively, it becomes a circle. The person you influence positively, influence the next person positively. And before you know, we have a circle of people that are positively influenced and a world changing for the better. But in this kind of leadership, you will not achieve that. Let's go to the next slide, please. Transformational leaders, which is, like we can look at from the slide, dealing with expectation from the other side, like a mother's dedicated unconditional committed service to a child. We all know how we are at home with our parents, and we all know how they're dedicated to make us see things the right way, especially when, like in this slide, teaching your child to read. You have to take them through the process. It's a mind thing, letting them even understand graphics, pictorial things, and letting them see the beauty in reading and appreciating graphics, picture, and from there they go into stages of reading. So it comes from transforming the mind, not forcing, not a give or take thing. It takes time, but it grows. Transformational leaders work towards a common goal with the follower. And what is the common goal? So that you all achieve the same thing at the end of the day. Put the followers in front and develop them. You know, like I said in the earlier, against the transactional leader, you are not dictating, you are not buying, you are not leaving them worse than you met them, but you are taking them through the journey. You are making them see why they need to reason. You are making them see why, oh, you don't have to shout when you want to collect things from me. You can as well say it nicely. And the next time you want to talk to the person or maybe ask for something, you say, you do the same thing. You ask gently. You don't bully, you don't shout, so that people can see and say, oh, I think I like your style of asking or your style of leading. Because at different times, especially in our entire sport, we all lead in different forms. We all are called to lead different groups, even if it's a group of 5, you know, but we must be able to put our followers in front and develop them and let them see the reason why things must be done this way, why we all have to agree and see the reason. Take your followers to the next level. By inspiring them, you have to inspire them to transit their own self-interest in achieving a superior result. You know, you can imagine if I have a beautiful idea and I'm leading a team of maybe 3 or 4, and they don't have the idea that I have, and maybe what I have is obviously a bit superior, because as a leader, I have gone behind to do a bit of research on what I want to do. So when I get to the round table, I'm trying to make an example from what I just said, you know, and we all have to deliberate and put in, you know, what we all have. Or can I say, okay, do we have anything that we can do? Any suggestion for this team? You know, especially when you're having a debate and you're competing against another team, you know, you just all have to allow them, put them in front. Let them all say what they have to say. Let them all bring their own idea. Let them feel, even at times even if they say something that doesn't make sense, let them still say what they feel like saying. You are the one that's the lead in the team. You are the one that have gone behind to do your research. So you are the one that want to positively influence your team to the dream and the goal that you have done the research. So you have to inspire them to transit their own self-interest into achieve a superior one. You have to just, there's a mindset. Tell them, oh, I feel, if we look through this window, or if we merge your idea with my own idea, or maybe just try to look at it in this way, it might work best. At the end of the day, you realize that the person you're talking to would most likely buy into your idea. You buy like the slide in the other one. You're pulling them up. You are the one that is on top. You're not making them feel inferior that, oh, look at them, they're down, they don't even know anything. By your own idea, they would automatically, from the slide, you can see that the guy reached out his hand for the one on top to pull. They would naturally want to reach out to learn more from you. They will, because like I said initially, leadership bedrock has to be on the foundation of love. Once we have that love at the end of it, love meaning that I don't want to say anything that will hurt anybody. I want them to follow me in love, and I want to bring across what I want to say without hurtful words, and being reasonable and being able to understand where they're coming from as well. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Now, the difference between the transactional leader versus transformational leader. The transactional leader relies on standard forms to inducement, reward, punishment, sanctions, control followers based on link, efforts, and rewards. They don't even want to, everything is, it has to be, there's a sanction, you follow, those kind of things. But the transformational, like I said, they're distinguished by capacity to inspire. That is the key word for this word, inspire, and provide individualized concentration, intellectual stimulation, like the example I gave in a group. By the time you finish and you talk, without even you saying anything to them, their minds would be running around what you said. They've been, they've been inspired. They have that intellectual stimulation and the idealized influence to see, oh, what my follower and what my leader is saying, to follow the leader, to just want to be part of the team, motivating them to act beyond the framework and exchange, a framework beyond the framework of exchange or transaction. So they want to do more because you've already opened them and you've already made them see that, oh, we can achieve more together. Oh, your idea is good, but we can just put a bit of this in this. We're not like, we put this, I give you this. If you want to learn from me, no, this is what I would do. That's what transactional does. So the other one is responsive and basic orientation in dealing with personal issues. And the other one, the transactional, they're proactive and they form new expectation in followers. Next slide, please. The transactional, they motivate their followers by setting goals, promising rewards for desired performance. Now, my question to this is that, what if I am not being able to get the desired performance that they want? What if this kind of leadership style, where I'm trying to create an imaginary picture in this, with this verse, with this number 3. What if, you have your followers and they are not being able to follow? They can't understand what you're saying. So does it mean that they can't, the reward you've promised them is 0? And what that does to people is that it makes them lose it. It makes them lose trust. Then it just makes them just not want to be interested anymore. And say, these people are corrupt. The system is just corrupt, nothing. Because it's a corrupt system that we want to engage in such. But rather, what you should do is to create a learning opportunity for their followers to stimulate followers to solve problems, which is still the same graphic pictorial thing I said earlier on. In which we are leading a group of 4, being able to solve problems together, sitting on the floor together and looking at the ideas, not putting any rewards to it. Reward will come when the work is done, and the reward will come to all as a team, which is much easier, and everybody's happy at the end of the day. For the transactional leader, they depend on their leader's power to reinforce subordinates for their successful completion of the bargain. Because, you know, they're like, okay, everything, when you do this, you do this. It's an exchange of give or take. Meanwhile, the transformational leader, they possess good vision, the management skill to develop strong emotional bonds with followers. You know, which, you know, I'm glad I gave the first example, because the first example I gave is actually what I'm reading out to you. The people are emotionally will be attached without even them wanting to do more. They will just want to wait. They just want to rub minds. They want to look forward to. I mean, imagine you have the team that you're meeting for 5 days. They'll look forward to all the days because they know that something good is coming. They would even be motivated on their own to make more research, knowing that whatever they bring to the table is not rubbish, is not looked down upon. There's a reward for everything. And the reward together is a teamwork, which they will get. So they're motivated to work for the goals and they want to go beyond self-interest, unlike the transactional leader, which motivates their followers around goals that appeals to self-interest, you know, which is not good because at the end of the day, all the transactional leader wants is their own. You know, they want you to do for their own gain. But the transformational leader is not for their own gain, it's for the gain of all. Can I have the next slide, please? Now, I don't know if you've heard of Gandhi and Martin Luther King. They have positive influence in India, positive influence in what they say. And the next slide, please. My time is, the next slide, please. These are examples. We have Nelson Mandela, examples, and Thomas Sankara, examples, and Malala, you know, the girl child who stood up, and also the Mosaic. All these people are a good examples of transformational leaders. The idea is to lead so that others can follow. It's not about themselves, especially Gandhi. It wasn't about himself. The same thing with Martin Luther King. They were not all about themselves, but about the people. The kingdom model of leadership, we all know, like I said, that it's about service. You all know Matthew 20:25, chapter 25 to 28, what it says. It says that the rulers of Gentile world is over them and great one exercise authority over them. It shall not be so among you, but whatsoever will be great, that's what Jesus said to them, among you must first be your servant. So a transformational leader is a servant leader because you are serving. Like I said, you want to hear other people build on them. So you're serving. You want somebody to do something. Like I said in the first time when I first started talking, you want them to talk in their chairs after standing up. You want them to pick their trash in the dustbin. You be the leader. Let them see you do it. You know, serve. Let them watch you serve. Let them watch you serve. You lead by serving. And that's what Jesus says in the book, in the Bible. You must be the first amongst the slaves. Even the Son of Man came to be served. And you can see from this slide, Jesus first brought the feast of the disciples. The next slide, please. So there's a video clip to this. Can I have the next slide? There's a video clip to this one that we're meant to. Now, in conclusion, a leader is someone who follows their dream. Listen,
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay,
Hello.
so our facilitator seems to be not available right now, but it seems like she's almost done with her presentation, so I'll wrap it up for her. So a leader on the screen, a leader is someone who follows their dreams, is honest, shows kindness, encourages and empowers, takes turns, helps others, treats everyone with respect, and listens to others. All right. That was a good session. We learned a lot about leadership and types of leadership and how to lead in each one of those types. So now, because of our time, we'll be able to take 5 minutes of questions and answers, and then we'll have a 5-minute break. And after that, we will have our game session. So if anyone has any questions, just go to reactions on your bottom bar and raise your hand. I'll select you to ask your question. Once I select you, please unmute your mic and ask your question or type your question in the chat. Thank you. Once again, if anyone has any questions, please raise your hand using the reactions tab. Ibuku, I can see you raising your hand. Do you have a question?
All right, Ibukun, please. Okay.
All right, Ibuku's question is, how can I be a transformational leader? Are any facilitators available to answer this question? If not, I think I'll try my best to answer.
All right, Emilade, please.
Your mute done. The way you want to ask me, raise your hand up.
Hello, sorry, my system just went off. So I'm using another device. It just went off while I was working on it.
Yeah, it's okay, Ma. We've wrapped up the session for you. I understand you are about to finish, and we're taking questions now. So Ibuku has the first question. This question is in chat. How can I be a transformational leader? Do you have an answer to that question for him?
Yes, you can. Can you hear me very well? Hello? Yes, you can. Okay. You can be a transformational. You can. Okay. Hello, Ibukun. How are you? Yeah, you can be a transformational leader by first understanding that the reason behind all of this is to influence someone positively. The goal behind this is to make the person better than you make the person. Wanting the person to have, most of the time we have an idea and we think that our idea is good. For example, I'll give you an idea and I feel that the idea might be able to help you answer your question. For example, I don't like people dropping dirt on the floor. I don't like people dropping their trash on the floor. So I want to be a transformational leader, and I want to be able to influence my friend sitting next to me not to drop her trash on the floor. So when I see her dropping her trash on the floor, I pick it for her and I tell her the best place to drop the trash is in the trash can. I tell her that. And I tell her the reason. Positively being able to influence her, make her have a mind shift, make her understand the reason why she's not meant to do what she's meant to do. Because being a transformational leader too you need to be very careful because the idea is to influence people positively and not be an authority over them. So if you tend to force your way in, you will lose them. But it's the mind we're looking at now. We want them to have a mind shift. We want them to positively know that you don't have to shout to get things done. You don't have to run to get your lunch. You can talk to me nicely. You can empty your trash in the bin. You can do things moderately. I hope that answers your question. And if not, I can give more to what you want.
All right, Ibuku. I hope that answers
Is she okay
your
with
question. Yeah, Ibuku is
Sorry?
okay with it.
Okay.
Ibuku has said thank you. It answered my question. All right. The next question we'll take is from Divine Samuel. So could you please either unmute and ask your question or type your question in the chat? Divine
Okay,
Samuel.
hello.
And
Hello.
I can hear you.
Okay, so let's say like in your class, like you like a teacher, like you vote for like a class captain, and the person doesn't like possess the qualities to be a leader. What do you do then?
Please, can you repeat your question?
Okay, I said that if you like vote for someone in your class like to be a class captain, and the person doesn't possess the qualities to be like a leader or to be the captain, what do you do?
Yeah. Now there are two things. There's two ways you can go about it. Before you can even pick someone to lead, the person must have an attribute or a characteristics of a leader. The person must be able to lead positively. Because like we all say from the slide, I said everything rests on leadership. Everything rests on leadership. For your class to be one of the best in class in your year or in your set depends on your class captain. So it depends on you, and the vote is yours. Just like we have in Nigeria today. Who you vote for is who you have to live with. So you must vote wisely, to know that this is my right and it's mine. You don't vote emotionally when it comes to leadership. But if it's someone that you know and you can talk to, and you think that you have qualities that the person doesn't have, that you can lead the person through, you can, like I said, be a transformational leader. And just say, maybe the person's name is IK. Oh, IK, I think I think you'll be a good class captain. I think you can handle this better because you have some quality, but I think you might be able to, maybe how you talk to people in class, or maybe how you talk to your colleagues, or maybe take the notes, or how you empty your trash, or something that the person might have a thing and say, oh, okay, I think I can work on that. If you're not able to positively be an impact on the person, I'm not sure the person would be good for you to vote for. But if you can have a chat or talk to the person and say, I think you're good, but this and this, I think we can work on. Because we are all, in the honest truth, we are all work in progress. I remember I said that a transformational leader lives in love. So you can actually lead the person in love by correcting the person and letting the person have some mind shift to handling things. But if the person has a mind of, oh no, it has to be how I want my things to be done, the transactional leadership, then I don't think it's worth making the person your class captain. Or rather, you maybe want to be the person to influence him positively to be a better leader. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Welcome, my dear.
Make a quick addition. Sometimes we have situations where we know we can do some things, but we just stay in our shell, especially when it comes to time for selection of class executives. We stay in our shell and we allow things to happen. Then when, in quotes, when wrong people in quotes are in power, then we begin to see their faults. And sometimes they may not even be wrong people in place. They may just need some other angle to their leadership, which you can provide. So they may not be worthy of outright condemnation, but you take responsibility for actually helping them become what they are designed to be. So that's just my contribution. The first, if you know you have capacity or a position of leadership is open, why not take the step? And where for one reason or the other you are not in leadership, let's support leadership and always provide them with angles that can make their leadership better. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. There's still more questions. So the next question we'll be taking is from Fortunate Adenaike. Once again, I hope I pronounced that right. So Fortunate, if you could please unmute your mic and ask your question or type your question in the chat. Thank you.
So
After this
thank
will be-
you. My question is, assuming I'm a leader of a country, like maybe I'm a president or I'm a governor, and I tell people that they shouldn't throw litters on the floor and so other things like that. But I can't live where I'm staying and start picking things on the floor. Like, to me, it's somehow.
Okay.
Because I
Yes.
told my people that they should not pick some things on the floor. And me, I can't pick it. So to me, it looks somehow. So how should I handle that?
All right. Thank you for that question. There's plenty ways. Like I said, I'm an advocate for stop throwing litters on the floor. And I also believe by example to show. If you're the governor, like you said, the place as you're the governor or you're a leader, and you obviously it's not even in your right to pick, but it's in your right to create a system, because there's something that until people are taught, they don't know. And a lot of us learn a lot from graphics. So you can put up graphics to let them know the reason, because most of us are driven by why. Why? You tell me don't throw litters, why? Because we want to know the reason why we don't do something. In one of the things I did is that when you throw litters on the floor, you can let them know, you can put capes out to let them know that when you throw things on the floor, it affects your health and your overall health. Like maybe have graphics to say, have pictures. You have pictures that says showing putting trash on the floor, wrap of sweets, your biscuits, your peanuts wrapper, and likes. And you show graphics of pictures flowing into the drainage, and obviously the drainage will be full. Water will not be able to pass through. So what happens is that there'll be a flood. I'm talking because you said you're the governor and you want to lead your people. That's why I'm answering this question. You're a governor, you want to lead your people. So you want to lead a very large people and you want them to see what you're saying. The same goes for if you're even your governor in your class and you've told your people in class that stop throwing trash. You need to put your trash in the bin. The best way, let them know the why. People are more driven by why. Once they know the why and they see the benefits in the why, and they see the negatives in the why, they will automatically decide on which one is good. Because by you showing them a why and a reason why not to, and a reason why to, their mind will be transformed. Immediately they will pick the positives and drop the negatives. Because we are human beings, and the first thing that we're trained by default setting is that we think of ourselves more. So when you show somebody a picture that you have malaria, you'll be sick, you have floods, your house will be flooded, with this and this, and you just by throwing just one wrap street on the floor, it creates an overall mind shift to the person. So I'm asking this, I hope I answered your question as Mr. Governor. Did I answer your question, please?
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. But one day, when I was passing by, I saw a young girl with her mother. So that day, the young girl just finished drinking a drink and she threw it on the floor and I was feeling embarrassed. I don't know. I couldn't take up the courage that I should meet the girl and tell her that what you did is wrong because her mother is there. And I
Yes.
feel it may bring embarrassment. So I didn't go. So how can I
Yes.
overcome that?
God bless you. I totally feel you because I've been in such situations already. And I found myself in one of those situations. I actually nicely walked to the person. Remember, I said something about correcting in love. You know, I nicely walked to this person in question and I said to the person, I said, this thing you're doing is going to cause a blockage and might lead to a flood. And the person looked at me. And what do you mean? I said, yes. I said, by the time everybody in Lagos or everybody on the street drops one thing or the other, it makes the drainage. And I said to the person, I said, as long as it's good for your tummy, it's as good as you please dropping it in the bin. And the person looked at me and picked it up. Do you understand? But at the same time, you need also wisdom. If you say to the person nicely that, oh, this is not really nice, and you say it with a smile, you know, and it's not really nice to drop things on the floor because it affects the overall health of Lagosians. That's if you live in Lagos, and it causes flood and malaria, and you and that. You know, by the time you do just a little story like that, the person will just say, oh, okay, sorry, let me pick it up. But if the person proves a bit difficult, my darling, just walk past and continue your journey. Because I get that kind of feeling as well when I see people. And at times I find the courage to say to them in love that this is not right. And I just made them see the why, like I said. Once they see the why in things, they would have a mind shift and want to do it nicely the next time. I hope I answer your question. I hope I answer your question.
Yes, ma. Thank you, ma.
You're welcome, my dear. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you for that. Last question is coming from, and again, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Ejufaga Emanuela. However, our question is the same question that Ibuku asked 15 minutes ago. That is, how do I become a transformational leader? So would you like to re-answer that question?
Yes. You become a transformational leader by first it starts with yourself. You know, it starts first with yourself. You have to look at yourself inward and check your strengths, your temperament. Because for you to lead and be able to transform a mind, you must have the right attitude. And you must be able to correct in love and speak in love. You must be able to pass your message to your listener without making the person feel less of themselves or feeling a feeling of inadequacy. You know, and you must also see yourself and appreciate your self-worth. But once you know that you carry something, you're a change, like we like to say, oh, I'm a game changer. You know, I'm a trailblazer. I want to make a change. I'm a light bulb. I enter a place, I lit it. You know, I want people to influence people positively. So to become a transformational leader, first, you must first transform your mind. You must first have a transformation. You must have the right attitude to so many things. You must be easily approachable. You must have the mind right set. You must not be too hard on even yourself. You must learn to walk in love, and you must be able to lead and influence people positively. But I tell you, if you find confidence in yourself and you're able to work on your temperament and your love work is very large, you realize that it'll be easy for you to correct people. You know, ordinarily correcting people is actually leading them positively. When you correct someone, or somebody, let me give an example now. In class, maybe you want to get a pen and maybe the teacher says, oh, they go and get something and maybe two of you want to rush to get it. and maybe somebody gets it first, and you know that it was yours to get, and maybe the person bullied you off. You can nicely say to the person, it's not that, that you could do this nicely. You don't really have to shout, or, I got it before you, or we can work better in love, or we can achieve, or we can even work together. We can use the pen together. That it doesn't have to be competition all the time. Before you know, you are transforming the person's mind. Because a lot of us, especially in school, we all think that everything is about competition. It has to become, it's competition. I must get you first. I must get there first. I must be the first. They must hear my voice first. I must be seen first. Once you just tell the person, it's not about competition. We can actually work together and achieve this common goal. In a team, we can work together, and it's not about me. A transformational leader does not talk about me. It's about us. Because now is a team. We are leading us to a common goal. And I pray that God will help us to understand better and to work better with ourselves to get a better country. And at the end of it, you realize that the community you live will be a network of people with positive energy. We don't rush, we don't shout. We're not about self. We're not transactional in doing things. It's not about give me. It's not about our voice. It's not about our self-interest. It's not being authoritative. It's not being dictation. You don't dictate. You don't impose on people. You allow people, and you make room for excesses. And at the same time, you're not being foolish. You're not a fool leader, because you must set boundaries to yourself. You're leading, so you must set boundaries. You must know that this is the limits I can do. I'm leading these people for this reason, and this is what it should be. So for me, that is it. I hope that has been able to help in this discussion.
Yes, ma. Thank you, ma.
Welcome, my dear.
All right. Thank you. This has been a very thorough question and answer session. And if you ask me, I think Mrs. Owaje is very passionate about the topic that she just taught us today. So with that out of the way, we'll have a 5-minute break. The time right now is 5:11 p.m. So you can go use the toilet, get a drink or even a snack. By 5:15, please be back at your computer, because at 5:16, we will be starting the next session, which is our games and debate session. So I'll meet you there.
Thank you very much.
All right. Hello, everybody. I hope you're able to do whatever you wanted to do during the break, because it's now time
Yeah.
for our next session, which is the games and debate session. And that session is being held by Mrs. Adeyinka Adefope.
Okay, sorry, Demilade, can I interrupt a bit? So Mrs. Adeyinka is unavoidably absent. So Mr. Lawrence, I believe you're on, and Mr. Okwe Adenaike as well. They would handle the debate. You can introduce the topic, Demilade. You can introduce the topic. Then I think the participants will divide themselves into two groups, right? So some will speak for, while some will speak against the motion. So you can go ahead. Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Okwe would assist you. Okay.
All right. If you would just give me a second, I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. Now that that's sorted out, I'd like to call on Mr. Okbe to start facilitating the games and debate session. Thank you.
All right, Demilade, before you go, I think you should introduce the debate. Mr. Lawrence, are you in the house?
Yes, Mr. Okwe, I am. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Please, you really help here. We'll be going into, for and against, groups of for and against. Monday to introduce the debate so that we can kick off from there. So over to you, Demilade.
All right. Thank you. And the theme of today's debate will be supporting or opposing the motion that states British colonialism did more harm than good to Nigeria. So you'll be dividing yourselves into two groups, for and against, and you'll collate with each other the points that you'll use to debate this topic. Once again, the motion is British colonialism did more harm than good in Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lawrence, please, over to you. Before we start, since we'll be going into groups of for and against, I think we're about roughly 20, at least we're over 20. So can we have like two groups? If you like to be in group A, please type A in the chat box. If you like to be in group B, you type B in the chat box. So can we do that now? You want to be in group A? Type A in the chat box. Group A will be talking for, and group B will be talking against. So that may also guide you. Group A will be talking for, and group B will be talking against. Group A for supporting the motion that British colonialism did more harm than good, and group B will be saying no, it doesn't really I mean, it didn't really do any harm. And then they show us the other angle of it. You have to be brilliant to be on either groups. So, Mr. Lawrence, I think you can take over from here. Group B, I can see AAA waiting for the strong-minded guys in Group B. Okay, please, everyone, I want us to type whether we are going for Group A or Group B. Please, quickly, quickly. That shouldn't take us time. Over to you, Mr. Lawrence.
All right. Good evening. No. Good evening. Yes, while we are typing in our groups, please, I'd like you to remember yesterday's lecture, the first lecture, 60 years of African independence. That lecture has so much to do with this debate. While you speak, if you can make references to the lecture and your understanding, of course, that will give you an edge and create a body of knowledge that can be accepted in our debates. Okay. All right. So while we are still getting into the grouping, please, if you are speaking or you are typing, just mention your group so that it can help the moderators. Okay, so right now, Mr. Ope, I think because of time, we just go into the debates proper.
Yes, sir.
Remember the topic. Okay. British colonization.
Colonialism.
Did more harm. Colonialism, sorry, did more harm than good. All right, so while we get into that, please, let's hear the Group A. So who is speaking for Group A?
Let me add Mr. Lawrence.
Can I be heard loud and clear?
Yes, sir. Everyone can hear you. Please, for everyone, a little
okay, thank you.
Information. If you're speaking, please try to present your point within 1 or maximum 1.5 minutes. Within 1 or 1.5 minutes, so that others also can have time to express themselves. 1.5 minutes. Thank you.
All right, so Group A, over to you, and your time starts now. Who is speaking? Divine Samuel, can you speak for Group A? Come on, leaders.
Someone is asking about the debate topic. British colonialism did more harm than good in Nigeria. So Group A is speaking in support of that. Group B is opposing that. Group A is supporting that British colonialism did more harm than good in Nigeria. And then Group B is talking against that. So that's the topic. All right, we are waiting for the firebrand. Are you doing silent prayer?
Hello.
Hello, yes, we can hear you.
So good morning, everybody.
Good evening. Go ahead,
Can
please.
you hear me?
Yes, we can.
My name is Adenake Fortunate, and I'm here to support the motion that British did British colonialism did more harm than good in Nigeria. Firstly, I'd like to explain who the British are. The British are people that colonized Nigeria and 5 years back. And my few points why British colonialism did more harm than good to us in Nigeria is because we found that many British colonialism, many of them killed Nigerians, and they did many harms to Nigerians. They sold us to other countries, and they destroyed us. They treated us anyhow, and they didn't really value us. They just found us at nothing. So, and till now, I don't think Nigeria could be able to improve to where they're supposed to be because of the harm that the British people has done to Nigeria. And I also think that the British people, they also with what to me, as from my own view, I think they brought us down. They brought us down to another level because I think we supposed to have been more popular than these, but I think because of how they treated us and how they made us down and made us this way, we will not have been like this now. So with these few points of mine, I think I was able to convince you that British colonialism did more harm than good to us in Nigeria. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. I was trying to study. I don't know if you got the name of the first speaker, Fortunate Adenike, I believe. Right, thank you very much, Fortunate Adenike, for that.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Pleasure.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
No, it's not a sir, it's a ma.
Ma, sorry.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Demilade, I know you very well. You were with us at Green Springs. I'm Mrs. Adefope. I was supposed to be moderating this, but I've had a horrible day with internet going in and out. So I'm going to let it roll. And I just need somebody to give me an update of what has been happening. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, well, can somebody give me an update? Because I hadn't been in with you from the beginning.
Okay, currently we are...
So we were talking about leadership and...
Well, we just had the debate.
Yeah.
British colonialism did more harm than good in Nigeria. So we had participants to go to 2 groups.
Yes.
Group A supporting, just like you have on the screen, Group A supporting and Group B opposing. So we just had the first speaker in Group A.
Okay.
When you came in.
I
So
just
think
noticed that Group A is more than Group B.
yes.
We can move 2 people to Group B. It's always good to have an equal playing field.
It's okay. So we hand that over to you, ma. You're welcome.
Okay, so who in Group A? 2 people in Group A that would like to move to Group B. Have you had time to deliberate before choosing your speakers?
No.
Oh, so that's why somebody has to move from 2 people from Group A to Group B. So we have an equal playing field, and then we'll give them like 10 minutes to deliberate, and then come up with who the first speaker, second speaker, or supporting speaker will be for each group. I don't know how this happened. Did you put them or did they put themselves, the Group A and Group B?
Well, everyone volunteered.
So Somto, Ego, Chizaram, Ego are siblings, I believe. One of them has to move, if I might say. And sorry, who is the secondary participant?
No, we can't hear you very clearly.
Who is the secondary?
Who is secondary participant?
I think we have 2 of them, except one at the.
No, there is a number 10 that is secondary participant. That's what I'm saying. I think one of the Egos wants to move to Group B. And I don't know who is tagged secondary participant. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think it's for the person to respond. We can all hear you.
Let's do this quickly so that we can have a good time, deliberating. How many minutes do we have for this? INT faculty, please, how long do we have for this?
We have, actually, we have about less than 30 minutes, actually.
So can we move secondary participants? I don't know who that is.
Yes, so though we have about 30 minutes, if we need to extend to about 45 minutes.
We're supposed to break into groups. I think INT would help us to do that. So we have a breakout session. You know your groups now. So, sorry, INT. Okay, Fortunate is saying the spelling of her name is not correct, because the R is before the U. Shouldn't be that. Okay. Okay, so who is helping us break into groups? And then we come back after about 10 minutes of deliberation.
Okay. Demilade.
INT faculty, who is here, please?
Yes. Demilade.
Yes.
Yes. Can you create breakout groups? Group
We
A
need
and
to
Group
break
B.
into group sessions. Let's see if I can do that.
Is that something that you
I'm
can
not the
do?
host or anything like that.
So because I'm not connected with my laptop, so I'm unable to do that now. I want to transfer the host
Demilade, is
slide.
there a way you can help us?
I'll know. I'll ask my dad.
Is there a way you can help us? We need to break into groups.
Oh, Mr. Lawrence, are you
groups, A
connected
and
with your
B.
laptop?
Quickly.
I am connected to the laptop.
Okay, so I will transfer the host right to Mr. Okwe. Mr. Okwe will create the breakouts of A and B.
I can't see what is going on. Please, can you talk to me? Thank you.
I'll be connected to them.
Mr.
Mr.
Pailu
Okwe, is that
Adenaike,
fine?
please can you help us break into groups?
Mr. Okwe,
We
that's
need to
fine,
break
right?
into 2 groups so that they can deliberate on what they are going to say. Daniel wants to be in B, but
Mr.
where's
Okwe,
Daniel? Daniel is already in B. Is it Daniela?
I can hear you.
okay, so I've transferred the host rights to you. So you'll be
Yeah,
able to
Daniel
create
Samuel wants
accounts
to
now.
be in B. Daniel is
Group
already
A
in
and
B.
Group B.
So who was the
Is
host
it
been
Daniela?
transferred to?
Mr. Adenaike, I can't hear you.
Okay. Hello.
Daniel, not Daniela. Please, can somebody just change the spelling of that name?
No, it's almost Daniel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So group 1,
So on your screen, you'll be seeing a room to join. So just click on join.
for group 1, please. Make sure you're joining the right group.
I'll be going from room to room, maybe after the first 2 minutes somewhere. Thank you, Mr. Okwe.
You're welcome, man.
So once we've all gone into our different groups, we have 5 minutes to deliberate on the topic and then know what we're doing. And so we know what we're saying. Get your points, hone your points, and know who will speak for you.
Hello, Abigail. Abigail, Hasha. Can you hop up to your room? Are you in group A or group B? If you are in group A, you go to room 1. If you are in group B, you go to the other room. Abigail, Divine Samuel, Ebere Chuku. Everyone's still in the main room. Please, if you are speaking for, you want to join the group speaking for, go to room 1. If you are speaking against, go to room 2. Unamani Perez. Inioluwa, Fortunate. Go to the appropriate rooms. Unamani. Please, let's quickly join those rooms so that we'll be able to follow the discussion. If any one of you is having challenge, just unmute yourself and tell me which room you want to go. Are you speaking for or against so that we can move you appropriately?
Fortunate, how are you? So, are you for or against for the debate? You can unmute and let us know.
For education.
Mr. Okwe. Mr. Okwe, well done, sir. Okay, so technically we have till 7. We have till 7, so we can take time with the debates. It's 4 to 7 actually. Okay. Sorry, I have to.
Okwe, please give them 2 more minutes. Mr. Adenike. Hello. Thank you. Ms. Adenike, please give them 2 more minutes, so they need that time. Where is he? No. Charity, please, can you tell Mr. Okwe not to close the breakout room?
I'm not sure if here.
Please.
You should
I'm
close
getting
it.
confused. Is this group A or group B?
This is not any group. This is the faculty. Where were you supposed to be? I think it has brought everybody back.
Group A.
Which group did you
I believe
join?
with what they've discussed so far, they should be able to.
They should be able to, yeah.
Yes.
Ma'am, in group A.
Were you there to talk with them? Did you move with them?
Ma.
Yes.
I didn't hear you clearly.
I said, did you move to group A when we're breaking into groups, into rooms? No, you didn't.
I saw a request telling me to join a breakout room, so I clicked join. But I don't know where exactly I am. But I mean, I'm supposed to be in group A.
Okay, maybe you joined them without knowing. Is everybody back?
Yes, yes, I think so.
Yeah, we're back.
Okay. So the other thing that that we can do with Zoom is to send direct messages to certain people. So I'm gonna give you 2 more minutes to send direct messages to your team coordinator. Do you understand what I just said?
No, ma.
Excuse me, ma. My direct messages are disabled in this Zoom call. You're only allowed to send messages to administrators and co-hosts.
Oh,
Sure.
okay. Okay, so that means that I'm the only one that can do that. Okay. Okay. So if you are ready and you've chosen, were you able to have a good deliberation?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me. So, excuse me, who is going first?
My group A.
Is the person speaking in group B?
Yeah, group B can do first.
Okay. So group A, introduce yourself, your name, your topic, and get ready.
Good morning. My name is Ibuku Olwalade, and I am against the notion that British colonialism, and I'm for the notion that British colonialism has affected Nigeria negatively. First of all, British colonialism has economically exploited the country by draining its resources and making Nigeria dependent on British trade. British colonialism has also created political divisions and also cultural division, making ethnic prejudice more common. British colonialism has introduced Western education, language, and religion, which caused a loss of traditional culture and identity. British colonialism also made the government system more favorable of corruption.
And
I hope that with these few points of mine, I was able to change your mind that British colonialism had a negative impact on Nigeria.
No.
I'm done.
Mr. Okpe, Mrs.
That's because no one is talking.
Ibuku is done talking. Ibuku has finished his speech.
Okay, can we have the first speaker?
Good days, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shimler Oluwalade.
and I from Group B am here to oppose the notion that states British colonialism did more harm than good to Nigeria. First of all, the British, after coming to Nigeria, were not in any way affiliated with the slave trade industry or exporting of
Are we
slaves.
ready to go? Group A, you have assigned your speakers. So we start with Ibukun Oluwalade.
He has actually finished.
First speaker for Group A.
Yes. Okay, maybe Ibukun should come in.
Mr. Adenaike, please, you would time them.
Okay.
We're going to give the first speaker 5 minutes. Each first speaker, 5 minutes, and it would be nice if. So we're marking you on points.
Excuse me, ma'am.
How well you articulate your point, and
excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, we will do a bit of your grammar as well. So your points, 1, and your grammar, and your coordination as a team. Okay? So, and your timing. So let me know when you're ready so that we can get on with it. I'm going to count down from 3 to 0, and then the first speaker for Group A would unmute and start. 3, 2, 1, 0. Over to you, Ibukun Oluwalade. Timing starts now. Please unmute and let us know what you're doing.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ibukun Oluwalade.
Your time has started counting. I hope you know.
I'm from Group A, and I am against the notion, and for the notion that British colonialism has affected
Did you hear what I
Nigeria
said?
negatively.
Well,
Yes, my
I
head
can't
officer.
hear you. What's going on? Can't hear.
Please, can you hear me?
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, ma.
I can't hear anybody.
Maybe it's your
Mr. Adenaike, can you hear me? What's going on? My audio is activated. Okay, I can hear now. Sorry. I don't know what happened to that.
I can hear us now.
I can hear you now, yes.
All right, first speaker can just start afresh. So
okay, so can we start afresh? That means the timer has to start again.
No. 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Mom, ready.
We are waiting.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Ibukun Oluwalade.
Yeah.
And I am supporting the notion that British colonialism had a bad effect on Nigeria. First of all, British rule left Nigeria economically exploited, and resources from Nigeria were plundered. Second of all, this caused political division of Nigeria, splitting Nigeria into political parties. Also, British colonialism caused ethnic prejudice, causing different traditions to have disputes. Also, British colonialism made infrastructure that supported exports instead of building schools, hospitals, and etc. British colonialism has also taken away culture from Nigeria while imposing British religions, culture, food, and languages. I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to change your mind on British colonialism.
You have more time. Do you want to expound on those things that you have said?
I don't have enough points to cover all the time.
Okay. Okay, so let's applaud him. Thank you, Ibuku, for coming on and giving us those very important points. So we move on to Group B.
Why?
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shemilere Oluwalade from Group B, and I am here to oppose the notion that states that British colonialism did more harm than good to Nigeria. First of all, I would like to state that some of the things mentioned by my opponent in Group A were purely false. Some of his claims and statements that included things such as the British not building appropriate infrastructure, such as hospitals and other public infrastructure, were not built by the British. That claim is fully false for the sole reason that things like modern technology and medicine were brought to a nice start, a slow but good start from the British colonialists that came to Nigeria. My second point is going to be that the Industrial Revolution was a world felt event that happened from the Americas to Europe and all around. It started from Europe, spread to the Americas and Asia, and over time made its way to Africa. Africa was one of the last places that the Industrial Revolution met, and it's quite apparent in the modern age that that is true. If not for the British colonialism over Nigeria and the interaction from colonialists, Nigeria would still be a land of mud huts and elephants riding peoples that people would hear tales and stories about today. My second point is that the British brought things like language, diction, and other foreign communication devices that were applicable to the Nigerians, and also brought way for change and growth in the country. Before then, as we all know, things like the civilizations like the Igbo empires, Tiv, Hausa, and Yoruba all existed and spoke their indigenous languages. These were some of the factors that created limitations in the growth and development of Nigeria as a whole. Reason being because of the ancient and almost primitive technologies, being riding of horses, raising of large armies for warfare, and all other things, were deemed completely useless by that point to the rest of the world via the Industrial Revolution, which was already apparent during the Napoleonic Wars in Italy and Egypt, where African soldiers were easily being outclassed by their white European counterparts, and all the way in the Americas by the United States on other forces either. The British bringing their ideologies, beliefs, religions, and most importantly, facilities, technologies, and language is one of the things that that made way for great and vast developments in Nigeria. With these few points of mine, I hope I have convinced you that the British did not do more harm than good and actually created way for much more developments in Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay, so I was muted. I didn't realize that I was muted. Thank you so much, Shemilore. Thank you for that. So that's round one. I'm not going to tell you who won or who didn't win. We are going to tally everything. So we go on to round two. Who is your second speaker, Group A?
That would be me.
Okay. We are waiting for you. Your time has
To
started.
paraphrase a popular saying, give a man a government and he'll govern for an age. Teach a man to govern and he'll govern for the rest of time. Good evening, everyone. My name is Demlade Oluwalade, and I'm representing Group A, which supports the motion that states British colonialism did more harm than good to Nigeria. My counterpart in Group B has just told you that without British technology brought in from all parts of the world through the Industrial Revolution, Nigeria would still be a pile of mud huts today. I disagree with this statement. There are many other nations who didn't participate in the initial Industrial Revolution, but who picked up on the technologies and are now giants today. And I believe that Africa could also have been capable of catching up with the rest of the world without interference from European colonial powers. However, the interference, while it did speed up the process of modernization, also brought far deeper problems to the intrinsic fabric of the societies that they eroded and rebuilt. First of all, the British political system that was brought to Nigeria was based on indirect rule, where they gave local leaders incentives of freedom and trade opportunities in exchange for doing whatever the British asked. This was arguably better than what any other colonial power did, but it was still very unfair to the basic Nigerians who were now being subjected to British rule by their own counterparts just because they were in public offices. And those people in public office chose to betray their fellow Nigerians in exchange for weapons and other British goods. Second of all, the British built a lot of infrastructure for Nigeria, yes, but that infrastructure was never really designed to be long-term. The British only planned to govern their colonies for 100, 150 years before stripping them of everything they had and letting them go. Obviously, that was expedited by events that happened later, but they never really planned long-term for their colonies. And so all the infrastructure built in Nigeria was really exploitative, designed to export Nigeria's natural resources like oil and agricultural products from wherever they're produced to Lagos or Port Harcourt, and then to be shipped halfway across the world. That's why you see a vast contrast in development throughout our nation, where places like Lagos, are very developed, while the rest of the nation lays almost in ruins. And as a result of this, many people flood from all parts of the nation to Lagos, overpopulating it and making it not a very good place to live as well. I hope that with this detailed description, I've been able to convince you of why, even though the British seemed to have brought a lot of surface level additions to Nigeria. The deeper problems that they introduced far outweigh them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Demilade. Yeah, I noted down your points on both sides. So we go on to the second speaker for Group B. So I hope this time it won't be another Oluwalade, but I don't want to put you under pressure. No, does not matter.
Don't worry, we've all gone. There are only so many of us.
So who's going on Group B?
I'm going for Group B.
Who am I?
Daniel Samuel.
Okay. So you have the floor now. And your time starts now.
Good day, everyone. My name is Daniel Samuel, and I'm for the notion which states that, I'm against the notion which states that colonialism aided, did more good than harm in the development of Nigeria. All right. So my first point is infrastructural developments. Before the introduction of wells and different means of connecting the water, Nigerians used rivers which were very filled to the brim with bacteria, viruses, all things which could harm our health and could harm our rate of mortality. But the British came and said that let's put a well here. Let's give them clean water to drink. Let's make them healthier. So they did that, and after doing that, they helped the medical aspect of our country by releasing by allowing us not to worry about the viruses, the dirt, anything that can contaminate us. Also, they introduced the concept of Christianity into Nigeria. Someone like Mungo Park came and said, I am going to come discover these parts, and also I'm going to introduce you to different religions. He came, he saw them, and described to them about how the different things which Jesus Christ have done, which Jesus Christ has accomplished, which Jesus Christ has done for the entire world. It thus introducing in Nigeria, just introducing Christianity into Nigeria. Also, they aided the literacy of Nigeria. Before Nigeria was introduced, before Britain came to Nigeria, Nigeria had a very, very, very high literacy rates. But when they came, they introduced English, the words, the symbols, the sound, everything, to make them more acceptable into the world around them and more educated about the world around them also. They made them to be less isolated from the world around them by allowing them to speak in the language which others also understood. This is why I think that the British colonialism did more good than harm in Nigeria country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Is that Samuel? Daniel? Did I get that right? I think so. Okay. So the last speaker, you have 2 minutes to round up. You are concluding what your team has said. You are concluding your team, what your team has said. Mr. Adenike, please let's give them 3 minutes each. I think we'll still have enough time. 3 minutes each, not 2 minutes, sorry, because he's rounding up. Okay. So, who is the third speaker?
Me, Divine.
Divine. And you are for Team A that is speaking against British colonialism, right?
No, I'm supporting the motion. For
Are you Group B or Group A?
I'm in Group A.
Yeah, you are for the motion that the British came to do us good?
No, more harm than more harm than good in Nigeria.
Okay, so okay. That was what I meant when I said against British colonialism.
Yeah.
Okay. So your time starts now.
Okay, good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Divine Samuel, and I stand here today to support the motion which says British colonialism did more harm than good in Nigeria. Okay, so to counter my opponent's first point, he said that the British came in to give Nigeria a means of transportation. I think that they came in, they actually did it, but they didn't give Nigerians the needed knowledge and understanding of how to use and control the means of transportation. So that didn't enable Nigerians to use it the way it should be used. Okay, second of all, the British came in they brought and imposed their culture. He said that they developed their literacy. But I get that English is like a worldwide language. But I think Nigerians should also be able to speak the language and learn it and be able to understand it. So this is coming in to just give them that language. Because now, in these days, Nigerians don't get the ability to express their understanding and their words in their ethnic languages. They always use English. And I think that that's like a negative effect on Nigerians. Also, they came in to exploit the resources of Nigerians. Nigeria is the country where it's the best natural resources like crude oil, iron ore, coal. And the British came in, they didn't even suggest anything. You just took it, and Nigerians, because they don't have the understanding, they took it and they I couldn't think about it. It also brought a lot of war and conflict into the Nigerians. They came and used Nigerians as slaves, and Nigerians couldn't decide to retaliate, but they didn't have the needed tools and equipment to fight them back. So British came in and used Nigerians without an exchange of anything. The British brought and imposed their culture, language, behavior, beliefs, and other way of life of Nigerians. With these few points of mine, I hope I'll be able to confuse and not confuse you that British colonialism did more harm than good in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you for your points. Okay, Group B, who is your spokesperson? This person is rounding up. Third speaker, Daniela Samuel.
Oh. Yes.
Can't hear you.
Okay. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm opposing the topic that the British colonialism brought more harm than good to Nigeria. Firstly, I would like to oppose the point that my opponent made, that the British just imposed their culture on us and did not favor us.
Am I the one that can't hear her? Or is she muted?
Yeah.
In pre-colonial Nigeria, the prevalent form of business was barter trade. This involved the exchange of goods with other goods, a system that was ridden with numerous challenges. The colonialists then introduced money currencies, making it easier for us to trade and do business, which evidently made us this strong infrastructure and significantly growing market economies, making it a suitable place for conducting business. And do improved healthcare. Before the entry of the British into Nigeria, country experienced significant high infant mortality. These were attributable to the underdeveloped healthcare, making the ailments that could not be identified, making it tricky for us to come up with a remedy. But when the British came, the situation improved through improved literacy and knowledge. Infant mortality was reduced since citizens could tell the certain diseases as well as their cures. It was worth noting that the healthcare improvements, like other advantages of colonialism, happened through imperialism.
I can't hear you. Are you talking? Are you done? What's going on? Am I the only one that is unable to hear her?
No, we can't hear her
I
either.
can't hear her, Mom.
I can't
We
hear
can
her.
hear you.
Who turned her off?
And her time is up.
Wow. Okay. Yes, we've had a really robust time of debate. So just a few corrections. If your first spokesman has greeted us, don't spend time greeting us. Just introduce yourself. Don't tell us what you're about to do because we know that you're speaking for this particular group. It takes out of your time. Those are things you should watch out for. Then the first speaker, stick to your point. Don't start by opposing your opponent. Don't open your statement by opposing your opponent, not at the beginning. Finish your points, then if you have more time, then that could be an added point for you, but don't let that be your initial point. You know, you don't go on the attack. You don't go on the offensive immediately. So that is another point. So the first speakers are there to marshal the points that have been talked about by the team. And then the second speakers can expound on it, you know, open it up and go a bit deeper, giving reasons. And that was what I found with the first speaker in Team A. You had a lot of points, but you didn't blow them open. You know, you had points. Yes, they came and took. How did they do it? What were we looking at as Nigerians when they were taking it? Were we intimidated by them? You know, why did our leaders, our chiefs and co, allow them to take our resources? Those are the things you would explain quickly so that we all get to know that, oh, okay, that was why you had 5 minutes, so that you could explain all those intricacies. Okay, well, you had your points. And then the opening speaker for Group B also had his points. And I think you were the one that opposed Group 1 when you started, Shemilore. So note that down. don't start by opposing. Marshal your own points. Then as a bonus for you, if you have time, then you do what you need to do. You can now say, my opponent also said this and that, and I do not agree because of this, and that. Okay, so yeah, that's that. And then the last speakers are supposed to conclude by letting us know, wrap up everything, and tell us why you still believe that these are the things. And you did try to do that generally, and it was good. Okay. I must commend Group A because I think they marshaled their points, but Group B was phenomenal as well. Both teams came out with topics that I probably wouldn't even have thought about. I'm going to send the scores to Mr. Okwe, but I wanted to commend all the speakers, and I'm glad you were thinking this way. So I'm just going to add my opinion to it. So I'll be speaking on both sides. So yes, the colonialists came, took our iron ore, went in for the divide and rule tactics, pitched our leaders against their people, which we're still grappling with till tomorrow, enriched certain people more than other people. But I always think to myself, why were we so foolish as to allow them to do this? Even if our forefathers were intimidated, why should we allow ourselves in this generation to be equally intimidated? So I'm asking you, in your generation, would you allow that to happen? I hope not. I sincerely hope not. And then Group B talked about improved education, infrastructure, hospitals, schools, and language being a unifying factor, which is good, because what that meant was that not everybody could speak English. So we developed our own, across West Africa, Pidgin English, which has become our unifying language. Cross from Nigeria, go to Ghana, speak Pidgin English, you'll be understood. Go from Ghana, go to Sierra Leone, speak Pidgin English, you will be understood. So yes, language is a formidable factor in this. Industrialization was good. You know, somebody talked about them bringing industrialization to Africa or to Nigeria. And maybe we should have been left riding our horses and our elephants and our giraffes. I believe that with time we would have actually come this far, because the oldest civilization started from Africa. But Benin Kingdom and a lot of the other kingdoms, or your empire and all of those empires of those days, were formidable. And they already had iron, bronze, and perhaps if we had been left, we might have been slow, but we would have eventually reached a certain level of self-determination in our in who we are supposed to be, you know, in our development and all of that. So thank you. Somebody also talked about mortality rate, child mortality rate, hospitals. That was a good thing that they brought. But then again, I'll add that our forefathers had, so I'm going to speak from two sides of my mouth. Our forefathers relied on leaves and medicinal leaves that they knew. And you see, in this generation, nobody is letting us know those leaves, because those natural leaves, so to say, that grew in the wild were therapeutic, they were medicinal, and they ranged from antivenomous, you know, leaves to leaves that could cure malaria and all of that. Perhaps what our indigenous people didn't do was to measure it, weigh it, quantify it, encapsulate it, and tell you take 2 milligrams, 1 milligram, you know, and things like that, because you are, what you need is, you know, it wasn't franchised. No, so that's not the word. It was not incorporated, and it was not measured. There was no pharmacology attached to it. But yes, we did have leaves. We did have traditional healing methods, and they were not fetish, mystical ones. They were natural things from the bush that our forefathers ate, and it worked and helped them. So thank you, everybody. So when you're arguing or in your private time, you sit down, you think about both, and you know, both sides, and you think it through. That's part of what we want this time of engaging with you to do for you to be able to become critical thinkers, thinking things through, thinking of the A and the B, you know, coming to a very good conclusion and broadening your understanding and your depth. That's what part of this training is supposed to do for you, to become critical thinkers, deep thinkers, and people with a broad mind, able to gather information, process that information, and apply the information where necessary. Okay, so thank you, everybody, and thank you for having me. Mr. Adinaike, I'm handing over to you. And I'll send my scores to you.
All right, Ma, thank you for the facilitation of that session. Mr. Demilade, with your permission, can we wrap up the meeting? And just on behalf of the Institute for National Transformation, I want to thank everyone for attending today's training. And I want to believe we have learned one or two things. Maybe before Mr. Demilade wrap us up, I don't know if any of you, if you have a comment or two, you know, just something to share with us in the course of the training as we wrap up. Anyone? Anyone? You can use the chat box, and you can also indicate by raising up your hand so that you get to make your contribution. Any last word from anyone? Yeah, I can see someone typed in the chat box, be a responsible leader. Yes. At the stage we are, it may appear that you are not a leader yet, but a leader is anyone who takes responsibility. So whether you're taking responsibility at some house chores or any other thing, beginning from home to your community, it's leadership. So let's know that. And it's not just what we teach others. Many people concentrate on teaching people, wanting everyone around them to know what is right without them paying attention to doing what is right. So let's always make a balance. Thank you. Yeah, Chidima Hebo is asking, is this all rounds? Yeah, I can see group 1, 16, group 2, 14. Ms. Adefokwe, I believe that covers for all the rounds.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
By both teams. Thank you. Okay. You want to say something, ma'am?
No. I was just going to say that I didn't hear you. I couldn't hear you.
well, you've confirmed what I needed to know.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Well, Mr. Demilade, are you still there?
All right. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, can we just take maybe the second stanza of the national anthem as we close tonight? Thank you very much for your facilitation. We appreciate
All right.
it.
You're welcome, sir.
And all who contributed one thought or the other to the full discussion. Thank you very much. God bless you. Over to you, David.
All right. So we're just going to be saying the second stanza of the national anthem again. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Are we supposed to be unmuted?
You repeat after me. So yeah, I guess you're supposed to be unmuted. Or you'll say it with me. All right. O God of creation,
O God of creation,
Oh God of
direct
creation,
our noble cause, guide our leaders right,
Leaders right.
our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow,
in love and honesty to grow,
and leading just and true, great lofty heights attain,
great lofty heights attain,
to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign.
build the nation where peace
Amen.
and justice shall reign.
All right, so I'll be handing off to Mrs. Adefokwe for our closing prayer. Ma, if you'd please pray for us.
Shall we pray? Lord, we thank you for this time. We want to thank you especially for our pledge that you will give us the grace to build this nation, that you will give us the depth of wisdom and understanding that we need to build a nation where peace and justice indeed shall reign in Jesus' name. Amen. Oh Lord, that children that you have brought thus far today will in their generation stand for uprightness, righteousness, peace, and justice indeed. And that everything that they have learned today will be an indelible mark in their lives. They will not just come here and go, but that they will always remember this day and all that they were taught today. In Jesus' name we have prayed.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
We love you all. Go out and be transformational.
I hope you guys made friends, or maybe you're all friends. I hope you made new friends. Network, one another, find out numbers, school, class.
Yes, you want to be friends.
Have you already done that?
Done what?
So
found out each other's school, age, class, and make a friend.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
Leave the room for maybe another 7 minutes so that we can do that.
So we can network. It's very good. It's very important, and then you can be each other's influence for good. So that in 20 years' time from today, when Chidima sees Daniel and Daniel wants to do something Daniel should not do, Chidima will remind him That was just a story. Chidima will remind him, no.
It's so bad at making
But
friends.
in case Chidima wants to do something he's not
I'd be
supposed to
making
do,
friends.
and Daniel sees him, he'll say, oh, you taught me and I won't do it, so you won't do it. Okay? That's why we are, that is why we are keeping each other accountable, and we're making friends today. And I pray we'll be a lifelong good friendship.
When's the next time we meet?
Pardon?
When is the next time we meet?
When is the next time we're having this?
What's the meaning of this?
Make friends.
Well, of course.
I will see tomorrow.
People are already talking. So we hold each other accountable. That's one thing Nigeria lacks, accountability. I always pray that God will give me friends that will hold me accountable and talk to me and ensure that I do not deviate. Sometimes it's difficult to stand on the straight and narrow path, but a strong friend will help you to be where you're supposed to be. Okay? So make friends. That's why we're not closing down now. That's why we're not leaving this room yet. Everybody's muted.
Thank you, Mrs. Adefope. We appreciate you, ma. Thank you, Mr. Okwe. Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. I don't know if it's still on. Thank you, Demilade, our able moderator. We're proud of you. God bless every one of you.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. Now I guess we can all go home.
It's understood. Some of us we went through similar things. So you have co-partners.
We're honored as well.
Let it out and speak.
Yeah, we can relate this.
Joshua,
Yeah, thank you.
happy to see you online.
The first time I'm talking about such kind of emotions.
I have discussed mine several times, so that maybe that's why I can say.
Anna, Michelle, I didn't hear your voice. And Abigail, I didn't hear your voice. Dunamis, I didn't hear your voice. So maybe you should just unmute and say, good evening, Mrs. Adefope. Bye-bye, Mrs. Adefope.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening, Anna. Now nobody wants to go. Dunamis, I didn't hear you. Nina, I didn't
evening,
hear
ma.
you. Good evening. Hope you enjoyed
Thank
yourself
you,
today.
ma.
You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good. What about Mina? Okay. Madam Charity, maybe you can close us now.
Okay. Mr. Okwe.
That's what you said about me, many things that encourage me.
Bye.
So,
Bye.
Enjoy the rest of your holiday and as you go back to school.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.